don't want you to buy them anywhere else but Smart Electronics.
Okay, son, get dressed. We are going down to Smart Electronics.
No need to go to St. Martin anymore. We have everything available right here in St. Kitts. And remember, we have only one store in St. Kitts, and we are located at Port Zante, opposite the food court. Smart Electronics, way to live a smart life.
26 minutes more than to know. Welcome back to the show. Let me say good morning to all of our listeners and to all of our viewers. Welcome to our fire conversation with representatives from the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services in the Federation, Timothy and Romel. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning, Jackie.
Morning, sir. Morning, listening audience and viewing as well.
Great. All right, so on the table for discussion this morning, the importance of the fire services here in the Federation. Timothy, you know you're the lead man, so we bounce it over to you.
All right.
The importance of the fire services. We often wonder if people value what we as fire officers do. And I know there are a few who value us. We would have heard their sentiments pass over the airways via this show and maybe even in person. But we're looking at, the wider majority of the Federation and maybe even beyond. And we just want to kind of shed some light, our own perspective as to why we see the fire department as important. Now, some persons, they feel that we are just here to throw water on fire. And the fire services is so much more than just throwing water on a fire. When you look at the different types of fires that we have to fight, there is a bit of science behind the whole thing. So we need to educate ourselves in how we can extinguish certain fires, and not just extinguish certain fires, but to prevent fires as well. So a part of our units within the fire services is the unit of fire prevention. Now, just think about a federation without the fire services, just for a minute, and see if in your mind's eye what that would be like. I have thought around with that notion for once or twice, and I don't see a federation thriving without the presence of the fire department. So,
no, what I find there really is a great minds think alike, because he just mentioned what my intro would have been. So I had to scrap my intro now.
Oh, that's why you were struggling.
My question would have been, what would it be like without a fire services? And I was kind of feeding him, and he was just picking up. So that's good. We connected.
Right, great.
But really, what would it be like without a fire department? And I would take you all the way back. I love history. So I'll take you all the way back to 1867, the 3rd of July, where the worst fire in the history of St. Kitts was recorded. And it is, I believe, one of the factors was that we did not have a proper fire department system in place. When you had a fire which started on Reeves Alley, now I'm talking things that I don't even know about, just history, I love history. On Reeves Alley, that is in the area of West Independence Square Street, at the time was the Pall Mall. So that street connected West Independence Square Street to 4th Street. Now it seems as though everything was tightly packed. So the fire started in an uninhabited building. So you see now the importance of monitoring these ruined buildings, these derelict buildings. They could cause some serious damage. Now the fire started in one of those buildings. Now it said uninhabited. It doesn't mean that it might have been old or dilapidated. It just was not used. And that fire swept from West Independence Square Street all the way up to Market Street.
Wow.
Yeah. It almost got to the Cunningham Hospital, but it was saved by a Dr. J.W. Branch, according to history, and some guys who he was able to, rally up and prevent the fire from getting to the hospital. And from there, it burned its way all the way back down to like Victoria Road. According to the historical accounts, the last building to fall was the Anglican Church. Yeah?
Wow.
And so the fire, it took up from Kearn Street to the Bayfront, West Independence Square Street up to Market Street. The entire area was flattened from that fire. And again, it is because there was not a fire prevention system adequate enough to deal with any fire of that magnitude. Now, after that, what was done? Roads were widened, more water supply was put in place because they realized what the problem was. Inadequate water supply, and narrow, they didn't say road, they say alley. So it means there was like just alleyways, maybe wide enough for a pedal bike to pass through, and maybe a very, 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 very small
foot traffic.
Yeah. And so, fire department is necessary to prevent disasters such as 1867. We are also here to prevent disasters like the Koori fire or the Hartswood fire, who most of us were around to witness those fires. I was a little chap. I could remember seeing fire hose up and down the street, and I wondered how they're going to get those things unraveled when they're finished. So we are there to prevent those kind of fires. Now, if the fire department is not equipped, if we are not, if our capacity is not strengthened or increased to deal with the growing economy, then we will always have situations like this. Now, the economy has grown since fire department became a separate entity.
Which was in
it has
2000.
grown and it has grown and it continues to grow. Now we are fire officers, but I'm going to say all of your essential services need to go to keep up with the economy's demands. You can't leave fire department behind. You can't leave police behind. You can't leave the defense force, nursing. We have to stay at par, with the economy's demands in order to be effective. So, like Mr. Martin says, we have heard persons, make some kind of statements like, "Are you serious? You serious?" Or even say something like that. And when you were, even the more important, the resource, the human resource, more important than anything else. Because when I risk my life, risk my life to go and extinguish a fire, the risk far outweighs the pay. I am not here on the show to advocate for an increase in salary. We ain't reached the part yet. I'm just showing you that the human resource is even more important, because without the human resource, you would not have a fire department, such a crucial department to keep people safe, the property safe, so they could have a peace of mind. And person who think that a fire department is not necessary because anybody could show water and fire, you are wrong. It takes more than just throwing water and fire. It takes that courage to face that raging flame, to face the heat, to take the risk of knowing that you may not go back home today. Your children might not see you again today. This morning when you saw them and you saw them after school you kiss your children, you touch the forehead. That might have been my last time.
Encounter.
So there must be a great appreciation for entities like fire department and police, the military. We should not just be seen as, oh, well, I really need it. No. We are crucial entities that this economy, this federation cannot strive or exist without entities such as these. So, and fire department, I'm not here to make it sound like we do everything right, or we are perfect, or we always get everything right. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes things happen that cause things that, you know, that it takes some time to correct. But we still need to be encouraged, because at the end of the day, tomorrow I have to go again. Something else may happen tomorrow and I have to go again. I have to set aside the mental trauma that I went through because of yesterday's experience, and I have to go today. I have to go protect a life. And you know what the amazing thing is? I am risking my life to save somebody I don't even know. I don't even know you. But yet I am risking my life to save you. So, you don't need to know me to appreciate what we do. Just appreciate what we do. Right? So, we just really felt it necessary to stress the importance of having a fire department around, and just to kind of covet the support from the general public, because without the support, I mean, even the call-ins, when we leave the show, we left here energized because of the call-ins that we get. And when we get people from Grenada who can call in and say, you guys doing a good job. When Sonny Boy can call and Jam Down and Long Time May here, But when these guys call and we leave the show energized, because these guys understand the importance of the fire services. That is why they call in every time and they encourage us to keep going, because they understand the importance of entities like ours. So I hope these guys keep calling, because I look forward to hear these guys' voices all the time.
As you mentioned, that let me let them know the lines are open right now.
Yeah.
465-2555 and 718-577-2916.
Yeah. So I'm sure certain things I would have said would have sparked, some light in my good friend here. So I'm sure he's ready to share something else, some really enlightening.
Some more insights. But before you do so, though, let's hear from the callers.
Right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
I'm Timothy and GQ.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir.
It was all said throughout my in the fire department.
Can you say it again? You're breaking up.
So it was always been said throughout my stint in the fire department that all firemen are crazy. And the reason for that is that everybody is running away from the fire and we are running into it.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, in addition to what Romel would have said in relation to the growing economy, this is something that I had put forward before, did a proposal for during my time. And I think it's something that you all need to take up again. With the growing economy and with these, due to the fact that we cannot go out because of land space, we start building upward. So due to the fact, I think you all should start looking at having an aerial ladder or turntable, right? This is something that you all should be taking into consideration now, because most of the buildings them are now high building. When the Merit came here, that was the thing that spurred my interest and thoughts along that line. And also, with our drought thing coming on, less water being used, I'm also thinking that you all should invest in a tanker that could carry at least probably 5,000 to 8,000 gallons of water to go along with the fire truck. Because there might be some areas you go, and when you open a hydrant, there's no water. because of the lack of water and the dry weather, and depends on the area that you're in. So having a tanker that goes along with the fire truck, I think that is very essential for these two things, the aerial ladder and a tanker. I think you all should be looking or doing some proposal to go for additional equipment and use in your fight. Or federation. All right.
Thank you very much
Okay,
for
thank
that,
you.
Hendrickson.
Let's take his next call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, you just call
Morning,
you.
morning.
Yes, man.
He just land.
Just land.
Yeah.
No, we have a big case coming up, man. You might have to come witness it too. I have a suggestion for you all. Firefighters are there to prevent fire and out fire. And I believe we have too many old wooden structures in the belly of Bastille. And I look at them as fire hazard. They are fire hazard. And I look at them as fire wick. Because one careless person just drop a little spark in one of those wooden buildings. God knows what will happen to the belly of Bastille. So I think the fire department should have the power of authority to diminish those buildings. And whosoever belongs to give them time to break them down. And if they don't break them down, then the fire department should move in and break them down. Because we cannot afford to let innocent people lose their lives and the house and all that they possess, all because of negligence in some other people with the old rotten down building. Thank you very much for listening. Ah, you sound good, boy.
Yeah, man.
I can see the little mama.
Hey, take it easy. Remember the enclosure, the onions. So wait till they finish to start your fire. All right, brother. Respect every time, Culture. I'll let you guys respond to Culture and the caller before with his suggestion. Mr. Hendrickson. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. We have had conversations before about the aerial ladder truck. At some point, I think Fire Chief Agaro and other officers would have traveled to, I think it was St. Thomas, to one of the neighboring islands to check their aerial ladder truck to see if, you know, something like that would be best fit for our country. And I mean, he's correct, because even if you go over, just as you pass Sugars and you go down the hill, as you pass the first roundabout, if you look on the hill at your right, we have some buildings up there, I think about 5-6 stories high. And, you know, traditional firefighting means that you would have to run all those stairs to get to the top firefighting. Whereas an aerial ladder truck, especially for the purpose of rescuing, might be best fit, because the person could come out on the veranda, come onto the aerial platform, and we bring them down instead of bringing them back into harm's way to get them out. At some point, of course, we definitely will need to have that conversation, because I'm only seeing more high-rise buildings coming on stream, and because in our local, you know, high-rise for us is like 3 stories up, because, you know, we are really accustomed to 2 floors. And so anything like 3 floors, 3, 4, 5 floors, that's a high rise for us. And so that's something that we really need to consider. Also having a tanker, we have had conversations about that as well. We've ever had conversations about having a truck that could carry salt water. We have an inexhaustible water source right there. And so if you could have a tanker that could carry salt water and use salt water for out in some of these bushfires rather than fresh drinking water, that might be a bonus for us as well. So we have taken the notes. This is something that we would raise in our weekly meetings, and hope that it will be taken forward to the persons who have the power to make, you know, that difference. Yes, so thank Clarence for bringing those 2 issues back up, topics back up, sorry.
You want to touch the culture brought a scenario to the table there.
Yeah, it was about the the congestion, I think it was.
The wooden build, the old
The
wooden building
in Bastia.
Yeah.
Now, we still have a few of these wooden structures around. If we were to look at Bastia closely, Bastia is still tightly packed, and if God forbid, one of these structures is to become engulfed in flames, then it would pose a threat to the additional neighboring structures. And I dare to say that we need additional resources to assist us further in areas such as these to combat fires that might occur in these areas. One of the major resources is the manpower. And when we look at the structure of our shift, I dare to say that we need some more further assistance. So I would use this platform to ask the powers that be to look into the fire services a bit more and see what our needs are and see how best you could assist us in assisting the country further in getting our job done and keeping everyone safe.
All right.
Let me add, as it relates to fire department, having the power, the truth is we have limited powers as it relates to what we can and can't do. We should have the power to give property owners let's say, okay, we write you, we give you a memo, okay, this building has been here for such and such amount of years. It is now poses a threat to the neighboring buildings. In the event of a fire, it would definitely be a hazard, pose a risk to Bastia itself, and have that power to give them a timeline. And outside of that, we go and knock the house down, and there is no legal implications to fire department because we have that power. Unfortunately, we don't. And so, again, this is something that we're going to take in our meetings, because we realistically, fire department, we need some more power or authority. Even when it relates to construction of buildings, they shouldn't be constructing a building without proper exits, proper fire escapes and so forth. And you need that power to go and check that site and say, hey, this is not in accordance to this. You need to shut down operation until. I know the building board have the power to do that. But fire department in itself, we may not have that power. And so these are things we really need to look at, because I think somebody has called on a previous show about having the power of authority to make persons keep the roadways in order. I don't know if it was Jamdong or somebody else.
I don't remember who it was, but I do remember.
Yeah. When they were talking about the bad roads. And so we still have some ways to go. I still consider fire department to be a fledgling organization, even though we're about 22 years. That's young still. So we still have some ways to go. We have to work on all of these issues. Hopefully, we have the right people backing us, and the city need for things like these, and we get things done.
We are currently doing some work on our act, that piece of legislation that governs us and gives us the power to do certain things. So soon as that revision is done, then we would send that document to where it needs to go for approval and things like that.
Great. We're going to take our final call for this morning. We're going to wrap it up. Stay tuned. Digital is up next. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm closing off the show. The next thing that should be taken into consideration is that poses a problem when you get
Can
a
you
fire call.
can you repeat yourself? You were breaking up.
Yeah, what I was saying to consideration is people's parking on both sides of the roads in some of those small areas. The time you get a fire call and the fire truck just cannot pass to go to where it needs to go. Be taken into consideration. We're having the vehicles parked on all parking side or in some areas, just leave open.
All right, thanks for sharing that, man. Thanks for sharing that. I see Timothy taking notes. Gentlemen, I'll let you wrap up. I know you've touched base on that issue on many occasions.
Yes, we did.
yes.
So, Clarence, your observation is indeed duly noted, and of course, these guys will look into that some more. Timothy, Rommel, which one y'all going to close on today? I'm not going to say.
Not so much a closing statement, but what I wanted to highlight is in line with what Mr. Williams spoke about the growing economy. When we look at 2000, when we separated from police to now, the amount of additional projects that have gone down, the amount of houses that were implemented, the amount of hotels came on stream. It has been a lot, and we need to keep up with the growing housing and the demand for housing and the hotel industry and things like that. Over the southeast, it is booming in terms of the growth of hotels, and so we play again. We need the additional resources to keep up with the times that we are moving.
Gentlemen, thanks for being here as usual. And I guess I'll see you guys, not a guest, will God spare my life and yours. We'll see you all next week for another program. Thanks for being a part of our program. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And stay tuned. Digital is up next. Have a good day, guys.
With my National Bank Platinum card, I have easy access to luxury hotels.
With my National Bank Platinum card, I have Visa special privileges.
With my National Bank